Hello and welcome to Homeschool MBA. The agenda today is sales and marketing management. Um, as usual, we've created a one-page slide which goes over sales and marketing management for a mid-tier manager. This has a lot of interesting topics. So, Professor, how are you doing? Let's talk about sales and marketing management.
Thank you very much for calling, and I'm doing very well. You have picked up a very important subject. Basically, sales and marketing needs to be differentiated. Your heading line, sales and marketing management, developing integrated sales and marketing strategies. Basically, we are talking of two different strategies. One strategy is for sales, that how to enter into the market, how to train our salesmen, and what, when, where, and how should they, sell, and who should they sell to. So that's a kind of strategy which the management needs to make. And then the second strategy is marketing. That marketing comes first and follows sales. Marketing is basically promoting your product, whatever it may be, and through advertisement and through direct contact and through brochures and advertisements and billboards and all that. Both put together, you have to manage accordingly. What you have to do is that you don't have to oversell and you don't have to overmarket, because too much of marketing can be counterproductive. So the strategy should be that it's neither, too much in details and boring and cumbersome, nor it is too brief that people don't understand that what do you want. So there are these points that you have brought out, starting from one, that is sales management strategy. Now, basically, sales management is to sell is to buy. To buy is to negotiate. To negotiate is involving both parties for participative decision making regarding buying and selling. Now, what do we mean to sell is to buy? So basically, to buy is to sell, negotiate. That means that you see, when we are selling, we are buying a customer, we are buying a client, and we have to make sure that we tell him the benefits and things like that. And that process of explaining your product to your client or to the market is called, negotiation, in which, in this part of, in the negotiation in this part means that understanding the requirements and the wishes and requirements of the client. So that is sometime face to face and sometime it is in writing, and then you make sure that both the parties are on the same page, that you understand properly what does the market need or the client need, and what are you offering. If both agree that yes, it serves their purpose and it is what the customer wants, that the process of salesman management is completed. Then we go to the negotiation part. To negotiate, you need to do homework, understand other parties' requirements and wishes, financial resources, seriousness in transacting business. Does your offer match the requirement and aspiration? Now, this negotiation is not like the negotiation we discussed in conflict management. So this negotiation basically is understanding each other. That is that you have to do your homework. That what actually the client needs. Do you have that product to serve his needs regarding quality, quantity, prices, availability, maintainability, reliability, all these things that you have to first understand yourself that what are these, adjectives that I've used that will my product serve them. Then understand other parties' requirements and wishes. Now, it includes in what I said earlier that when you are considering, then you have to make sure that you differentiate between requirements and wishes. Now, requirement is can be met, but wishes cannot be met. So your first problem or your first point of negotiation would be to differentiate between requirement and wishes, telling the client, because sometimes clients are I mean financially they are very sound, but they do not really differentiate between requirement and wishes. Like for example, no, a person wants to buy a car and everybody wants to buy a big car, a Mercedes or something like that. But his resources do not allow that. So that's his wish. So the requirement is that he wants a good car for transportation and for family and all that. So you have to differentiate between that, looking into the financial resources that the person has. Then you have to, going into, going into negotiation, you have to judge the seriousness of the client. That is just for, you know, window shopping, or is he or she is seriously interested to transact a business with you. So that depends on your common sense and your understanding of the customer's feeling. Does your offer match the requirement and aspirations? That's what we discuss, in the first point. And then we go down to the negotiation strategies. Now, in this case, win and lose, 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 win, win. Prepare contracts, let legal department prepare terms and conditions, ensure exit clause. Now, in this case, win and lose, sometime, you have to create a relationship with the customers and the clients. And you should not look at win and lose situation that with one transaction you may win, but you may lose the client for other transactions. So avoid win and lose situation. And certainly lose-lose situation is not desirable for both the parties. Only, a situation, win-win situation is that you sell, make profit, and the client buys, and he buys a reliable product and maintainable and which is affordable and is happy with it. So you are happy to, sell and make some profit, and the customer is happy to buy and use the product for his comfort and for his requirement. So it's a long-term relationship. It's not simply one transaction. Win-win situation creates a kind of long-term relationship between two. That is the installation of the equipment or maintaining of the equipment or repairing and replacing various parts and things like that, giving time to time upgrades of that product and making sure that the customer stays with the pace of the technology and things like that. So the customer would always be very happy to have a kind of long-term relationship with you. And then comes the, the legal document, that is the contract. Basically, it is part of the legal department, and there are some, set rules of the contract. The only thing that I would like to, point out is that both the parties must agree with the terms and conditions that you discuss in the contract, and there should always be an exit clause. This means to, you know, cancel contract at any time during the course of the transaction. Now, it's a very difficult and very important clause. There you have to, make separate terms and conditions for closing the contract before it is completed. So there are some penalties and there are some bonuses that are to be given, and there are some advances that you might have had, and you have to make adjustment, and all those situations must be part of the exit clause, and this must be made sure by the legal department that the exit clause is made in a way that if it happens and if it is inevitable, then both the parties should not get into, lose-lose situation. Still, they should remain under win-win situation. And then we go to sales policy. That is developed sales policy, customer services, refund and replacement facilities, sales team development, training and coaching, developing team communication skills. Now, the policy, the sales, sales policy is basically that you uh, give a framework to your, marketing people and even the sales people, what, when, where, why, how to do things and what not to do things. Most important in this policy is the, care for customer services. And customer services are, provided on the spot, on the situation, and even at customers' premises. So, which includes, refund and replacement facilities. Now, that's a very important. If customer gets a, chance, and customer has the facility for refund and replacement, and because he or she doesn't like the product, that would be a very big attraction for the customer to go for that company which provides this facility. And this is done not by one person. Policy is made by the top management, but it is executed by the sales team development team. So therefore, you have to develop a sales team. And when we say sales team, then you have to first of all train them and coach them that what that product is all about, its benefits, its strengths, its weaknesses, its prices, its comparison with the market, products, and things like that, and how it is distinctive or how it is different than the market and the other competitor products. So for that matter, you have to develop a team which has a very good communication skills. So that is that they are able to explain the specifications of the product or the service and benefits attached with it. And then we get into another area, that is career growth and development opportunities, that is build incentives for sales and salespersons, document sales and proceeds, develop SOPs, that is standard operating procedures for selling, select a team leader develop job description, that is JDs, and develop integrated sales strategy. Now, in this, when we say career growth and development opportunities, that is with reference to the sales and marketing people. Apart from the financial incentives, the sales team must have, career paths clearly identified, that how they will progress in their career from salesman to sales manager and above. And for that matter, you have to build incentive and benefits which are automatically linked with the volume of sales that they are doing apart from commission. That is, their promotions, their placement at better locations, and transportation facilities, and even some kind of extra entertainment, and things like that. And then some kind of prizes, salesman of the year, or things like that. So salesman of the year may attach, with you may attach some kind of financial award with it, or paid holidays, or things like that. Now, in this, is most important is the team leader. The team leader is a person who is not a specialist but a an all-rounder. So he knows marketing part, he knows the sales part, he knows the market, he knows the clients. He can very well interact effectively with the top management, and he can, a kind of overall exercise overall control, and he is in a position to make difficult decisions. So Eddie is not scared of taking risk, or taking decisions out of box. So all this is called, integrated sales strategy. When we put all these elements together, it becomes a sales strategy. And then we go to categorization of performance. That is, follow continuous improvement process techniques, and develop review and evaluation calendar, and then categorize performance, develop reward and reprimand system, declare salesperson of the month, year, publicly acknowledge winner and loser, and Toyota method of recognition is an example that, and which I'll describe a little later. So categorization is basically comparison of different teams and different salesmen, that who has done what, when, where, and how, who has achieved the objectives within the financial resources, and who has failed in spite of having opportunities available in its area. And then there are certain, team who would find a difficult situation where, like for example, selling ice cream in mountainous, in snow areas. So it would be very difficult for them to sell ice cream over there. So that's a kind of thing. Over there they could sell even, coffee or tea or something like that. So when we say categorize performance, that is A, B, C categories, and you attach kind of awards and rewards with those categories. And that must be, the teams must be monitored very closely, and they should be judged very fairly, and justice must be displayed, that the fairness is part of the management, that you are holding, you are kind of giving a policy where every person has a chance to rise. So, and then of course, when we say the Toyota's method of recognition, is that Toyota has a kind of very special, there is a, very special treatment for that person who becomes the, salesman of the year. Perhaps their pictures are played along with the chief executive and the, um, kind of publicity is made within the company, and the chief executive honors him with medals or things like that. So that's generally speaking the strategy that we can talk of. So if you have any questions, we
So,
can answer that.
yeah, so Professor, one question is, I mean, we have these 6 steps as an overview of sales and marketing management. Maybe you can highlight that as one's career path grows from start of his career to eventually a general manager or moves up, they basically develop this skill set over their entire career. So they have opportunities to pick up sales management skills, then negotiation, then policies and career development. So maybe you can highlight that how each of these six steps you are learning and improving every year as your career evolves.
It's a very important question, and it takes a lot of time to actually to justify answer. But generally speaking, the success lies with hard work. And what is hard work? Firstly, understanding the policy of the company itself, the profit and loss position of the company, then strengths and weaknesses of various levels of management, and then what is required out of him, and then the job descriptions that he has been given, and the career path that has been set by the company, that how can he, move from one step to the other step. He must understand all that. And when he understands that for moving upwards, what is required, what he is supposed to do, and what can, who else can help him and things like that. He must understand the overall company's policy and aims and objectives, and, the strategy of the company. That's first step. And then he should be able to implement the policies of the company in a way that company's profits, they grow. And if he is leading a team, the team achieves its objectives, and he does not he is not scared of failures, and he takes out of box decisions, he takes risky decisions, and he's willing to accept the responsibility if responsibility of the failure, and then he tries again. So that's another kind of tip to the young managers, that don't be scared of failures, because victory lies in struggle, not in achievement. So where you have to, you are struggling hard, the management knows that you are struggling hard, you are doing your best, and still things are not coming to the, level where management wants, they will appreciate you. And such people, such implies they have a big chance of going up. And similarly, we should understand all these negotiation strategies and sales policy and all these 6 points. He must be aware of all this that we have discussed in this whole lot, so that he becomes more or less at the same page of the company where the top management is. So when he understands the top management's requirements, their wishes and wills, and their objectives, then and he tries his best to achieve that, and sometimes he achieves and sometimes he fails. So it's a long-term struggle. By doing honestly, hard work, he or she can, rise step by step and then go to the top of the ladder of the management. That's how it's possible. It's never possible to jump from the lowest to the top. Very rarely it happens. So you have to go through the process. Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.